I think it's about to work. And it's exactly 3 p.m. Okay. I think it's exactly 3 p.m. And um, welcome to office hours. It's a new semester. This is the start of the autumn semester. And my primary, what should I say? I didn't plan well for this. I have not shared office hours. I've shared it with like 3 or 4 people but I am planning on getting more invested in office hours and telling more people and actually I just wrote it down. So this week, everyone who's on my schedule will know about office hours and will potentially be office hours is for you guys. And we are sharing it publicly for the time being here on YouTube for those who are curious or would like to hear some good instruction or find out the kind of conversations that go on in this program. So that's sort of the housekeeping announcement. I haven't told people about office hours. If you want to tell people about office hours, do. The only people who can really participate in office hours, meaning call up or submit a question to office hours at this point, are people that are in the program on my schedule. And last month, and here's another housekeeping thing. So as I've been building this program, I've been studying the internet, which is disgusting. And I've been studying the horse world on the internet, which is even worse because it's such a misuse to have another creature have to be involved in following the protocol. The things that make the internet hum aren't good for riding. I'll just leave it at that. I'll get into that another time. But the reason why I'm bringing it up, why did I bring this up? Oh, because I have been meaning, and I've been building the program I operate as a virtual training, like I'm using the internet to make the barn be like a real training barn, which it is. And some of the most elite riders in the world are participating in it. And because it is how horses go. But that's not the real point that I want to make about housekeeping for office hours. One of the mistakes of the internet is it has turned horse people, not rider trainers, horse people into lazy, useless, attention deficit disorder weenies, because they can just click, and if they miss something they can click, and if they want something they can click. But that's not how it is. That's not reality in horse life. The reality is you have to learn to see stuff, and you have to be there to see it, and you have to see it over time. And yes, there are some applications, and I'm using these applications myself so that I can really show someone something. But if I needed to really see something or understand something, I had to go back every day and wait for the same horse to go or wait for my turn to try again. I didn't just get to click repeatedly, waiting or just having all this at my disposal. And so while there are wonderful benefits to having everything to the disposal, there is a ruining of a rider's heart and mettle, mettle, that has happened in the 25 years that the internet has really been a thing, which for the first 15, of course, everyone knows the story. I didn't want to do it. So then I came on it. I paid attention for a couple of years before I started typing in it, and everything I do is deliberate. I know what's happening. The trainerettes are spoiling people so that people are unable to learn. And that's not even dealing now with the horses yet. As a result of this, and being able to go back and see something again and again, I am thinking about two things. I'm thinking about office hours is the day it happens. After you, if you didn't see the office hours, it's gone. Right now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, if you missed office hours in August, which was incredibly useful conversations on the topic of sleeping beauties, which is most warm bloods and Iberian horses in the world. If you missed August office hours discussions, tough shit. They're gone. We had those discussions. You weren't here. I'm not going to delete office hours the minute the live stream's over, but I think I may delete them maybe every 30 days or something. Or I may just delete or make private certain ones. Because, like, let's say that you were a learning rider here and you needed to learn something or see something. I'm not going to keep doing it over and over for you. I could say I'm riding the horse at 6:45 in the morning. He'll be warmed up by 7:20. So that's when the collected exercises will be happening, which is what, this is hypothetical, what you want to see. So that is when you need to be here. None of this, like getting to rewatch or getting to do or get like whining the internet, no, it's kind of over and done with. And the old masters talked about this. I'm sorry, I'm just here on office hours, just beating the shit out of you people because you're so spoiled. But the masters even said that this is living, ongoing art or practice or whatever. It's not, when the horse does it, that's when you deal with it. And so the internet is training that out of people, that sense of being present to do something now when it needs to be done, which is usually when they're exhaling, and you can get into their upper joints better then. I mean, it's like, if you miss the chance. So I want to start training you guys to not miss the chance. And to get somewhere on time, even if it's inconvenient. I mean, God knows I do. So that is what's going to happen with the office hour episodes. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to take, for example, last month, which was on the topic of sleeping beauties or stuck horses, which aren't stuck. There's only stuck people. There's no stuck horses. And turning that into a class and, donate the proceeds to a military program or something. Who knows what I'm going to do with it. But the point is that I'm showing up here. Other people are showing up in office hours. Don't rely on it always being there. Just like none of you should rely on me always being present on Facebook. Like I keep saying, I'm not a Pez dispenser for riding information. Eventually, it might not. You don't know where the source is. Anyway, I didn't really mean to get into all of that, but it is kind of important, these ground rules for office hours, because if you don't like what I'm saying, just leave now because I won't know the difference. Last month was on stuck horses, which are actually only stuck people. Horses go as they're ridden. If the horse is stuck, the person who was riding the horse before you was stuck. Simple as that. This semester, since I am planning the public launch of class 108, which is on rider position, this term, so to speak, I'm going to focus on rider position. Now, as we all know, everything is everything in riding. So the way of going is affected by the position, blah, 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 blah. It's all the same system. But for convenience and discussion's sake, we do extract elements of the system. Is this a problem in the rider's position delivering the aids? Is the horse misunderstanding or too green to understand? So we do have to be able to isolate what element of the co-acting system we want to address. This huge thing of the rider position, I want you to think about this. So there's the rider and the horse. And everyone's always talking about like this togetherness or as Durchlässigkeit, but to get this thing going, it is like a separate creature. So in a way, we have to learn. It's not a horse plus a rider. There's the ridden horse. There's the ridden horse. That's what a going horse is. It's a ridden horse, and it's an entire system that includes the rider. They're not really separate. They affect each other so hugely, but really it's the rider that affects the horse, because the rider has the thought and the horse executes the thought. So it's just like if your brain, if you were just a talking head, how do you tell your body to do stuff? Well, you learned it as a kid. You learned how to use it. And that's what we teach horses. We teach horses to, we teach them to read our thoughts and do them. But there actually is physical occurrences of the thought going through, of the idea of the rider going through the properly arranged body of the rider into the horse. The horse then feels that impulse, which is like, just imagine like a little, how the computer sends information, like a little neurological concept, and goes, oh, and it does it. Just so try it yourself right now. Snap your fingers. So from the time I said to snap your fingers, then it had to go into your brain, and then it came out your hand and you snapped your fingers. That is fast as shit. That's how fast writing is. Not even that I said it. Your thought to, I'm going to try it. Like if you're going to try snapping your fingers, figure out the time lapse between you deciding to and your fingers snapping and hearing the sound of it. Okay. So that's why we got to get all of this straight beforehand, because that's how fast writing is. All right. So this body, the rider's body, it's an instrument, and it is an instrument that is connected to the body of the horse. So and it is a conductive instrument in that motion, momentum, and impulse, including information, goes through the system. So both the horse and the rider have to learn this state, this condition of being that is the first prerequisite of all decent riding, identified by every master in history, and that is looseness. Losgelassen, Losgelassenheit. Looseness. Looseness. The joints are loose. The major would say that he has more hinges, but also to be all like wah like this, my tissue is soft. My muscles aren't hard. It's very loose. Everything goes through. When a rider makes the horses stuck, it's because they do not have that quality. They lack hinges. They might have a hinge in their elbow, but I have 33 bones in my hand. The major would always say that, my dear, did you know that there are 33 bones in the human hand? Yes, I knew that because he asked like 3 times a week. There are 33 bones in the human hand. So when a rider lacks this prerequisite looseness, it will either, there's basically two types of horses. It's either going to make the horse stuck or blow up. A horse that's more prone to tension is going to feel a rigidity or a resistance in the rider and be like, shit, oh my God. So there's either going to be, well, it's like a fire hydrant on top of me, so I can't move, or it's going to be, oh God. So these are the two types of horses. There's the stuck horse that gets labeled as lazy, but that isn't lazy, it's just blocked. And there is the tense horse that is also usually blocked and overcompressed and not having the upper joints and the tissues that surround them take on the majority of the work. When the upper joints and the tissues that surround them are made knowledgeable and flexible and useful, the weirdest things happen. The sleeping beauties wake up and the basket cases mellow out. And all of that has to do with riders who with educated seats that are loose. Now, I have a problem when I am speaking, and those of you who ride with me know that I ask frequently, did that make sense? Am I cogent? Because I'm just going to assume that was cogent. And even though I've said I'm committing this term or autumn semester to rider position because of class 108 really being on the table. Class 108 is rider position. Look in the description box if you don't know what I'm talking about. And there will be, I'll put a link. I'll put links there for all the classes. But go to the website and just read it and inspect. Okay. So even though I'm devoting this term to rider position, I said to myself this morning, it's like every horse I was looking at, oh my God, this is a basket case horse who's now all mellow and wonderful and easy. Oh, another basket. Last month I felt like I had half a dozen sleeping beauties. This month I feel like I have half a dozen basket cases who aren't basket cases anymore. So that is going to be a subtopic. Any topic is fair game from riders in the program. They've already done a lot of study and writing, and the conversations are bound to be fascinating because of that fact. So if you're not in our program, please do listen in on Wednesdays at 3, and you can catch up. I'm not going to delete them the minute I get off the Zoom. I'm going to leave them there for probably at least 30 days. Those are the topics. If there's no one called in or with a specific question, the topic is going to be rider position, subheading horses that are more prone to being frantic. But they don't. They're so wonderful. Like as soon as you start to, as soon as they feel the stabilizing coxofemoral articulation, they're like, oh, I shall dance now. And that's when the reliable steady state kicks in. Now, this is all a result of rider looseness that always tends to increase the sensation of mass, which is the quality that the horse knows to advance. Okay, I think that's a good ending place. I am going to be telling people about office hours, so chances are after today, there will be callers and questions to answer, not just me lecturing you guys. And I hope you understand my position on the internet and that I am going to be kicking hornets' nests. And actually, a rider trainer did bring up a very important topic. It may become even another meeting or discussion at some point about the terrible fallacies and false doctrines and very false ideas that are going around. One in particular being inside leg to outside rein. That is an effect, not a religion. It's just an effect. The mass, it's only mentioned one time, and that's in Vorendorf's Principles of Riding. It's just not as big a thing as people are making it. And it will really screw you up because horses aren't supposed to cross their back legs over each other when they're just going on straight lines and stuff. All right. I could go on forever because riding is my favorite subject and horses are my favorite thing.